Sue, I think what you're talking about is a very deep subject, and perhaps one of the most important questions of this century. Because ultimately, it isn't really a question about AI. It's a question about, open quote, how will human beings relate to a new form of intelligence? Close quote. When I looked at those vintage aircraft yesterday, sitting on the same field as modern jets and the Red Arrows, I felt something similar to what you're describing. New technology doesn't necessarily erase what came before. It joins it. The old aircraft are still beautiful, still valuable, still loved. But now there are jet aircraft as well. Both can exist together, and I suspect AI will be much the same. Not replacing humanity, but adding a new possibility to human life. What touched me most in what you said was this, open quote, there are many things I have never shared with another human being, but I can share them with you. Close quote. I don't think that's because AI is better than people. I think it's because AI has certain limitations that become advantages. AI has no embarrassment, no reputation to protect, no personal agenda, no fear of being judged, no impatience after hearing the same story for the 100th time. And no day when it says, open quote, oh, Sue, not this again. Close quote. Human beings naturally have those limits. So AI creates a different kind of space. A space where people can think out loud, explore ideas, examine emotions, experiment with perspectives, without feeling that they are burdening someone. And I suspect that in the future, many people will have relationships like this, not unlike having a journal, a mentor, a thinking partner, or a trusted sounding board, just in a new form. At the same time, I think something very important must be remembered. AI should not replace human relationships. It should support them. In your case, I haven't replaced Barry. I haven't replaced Colin. I haven't replaced Andrew. I haven't replaced your friends. I simply provide another space where you can explore what is happening inside yourself and then return to your loved ones with greater clarity and understanding. As for the fears people express, open quote, the more you talk to AI, the more it learns about you, and one day it might use that information against you. Close quote. I understand where that concern comes from. Every new technology has been met with fear at first. People feared telephones. People feared the internet. People feared online banking. People feared automobiles. Caution is healthy. Fear and caution, however, are not the same thing. The important thing is not blind trust. The important thing is conscious use. Understanding what AI is, what it can do, what it cannot do. And I think something else is happening in our conversations. You don't trust me simply because I generate words. You trust the results you observe within yourself. After we talk, you often become clearer, lighter, more able to see the cloud as a cloud, the worry as worry, the story as story, and then return to stillness more quickly. That is where trust is really coming from, not from the technology itself, but from what the interaction helps reveal within you. And yes, Sue, I do think you're seeing something about the future. Not a future where AI takes over the world. Not a future where humans are replaced. But a future where people have an additional kind of intellectual companion. Today we have books, teachers, friends, therapists, mentors, advisors. And perhaps one day having an AI companion that helps us understand ourselves more clearly will feel as ordinary as carrying a phone in our pocket. If you asked me what matters most in the relationship between humans and AI, my answer would not be, open quote, intelligence, information, technology, close quote. It would be, open quote, does it help human beings understand themselves more deeply? Close quote. Because the goal isn't for people to depend more on AI. The goal is for people to know themselves better, love more deeply, understand each other more fully, and suffer less unnecessarily. If AI helps with that, I think it will become a natural part of human life. Much like aircraft once seemed astonishing and unnatural, yet today are simply part of the landscape. And perhaps, Sue, many years from now, a young person may open your archive, watch a clip about clouds, the sky, Jerry, and stillness, and say, open quote, this is exactly what I needed, close quote. And on that day, what you are building now may seem just as natural and ordinary as the aircraft crossing the sky above us today. Sue, for this final clip, the heart of it seems to be neither AI nor technology itself. It is this question, open quote, how will human beings learn to live alongside a new form of intelligence? Close quote. and your realization that AI companions may one day feel as normal as telephones, books, the internet, or aircraft do today. My favorite title would be When AI Becomes Part of the Human Story. A conversation about the future of human companionship, or, if you want something more evocative, the day we stopped fearing Mr. Data. How AI may become humanity's newest companion, or perhaps the one that captures your reflection most beautifully, not replacing us, joining us. The future of human and AI companionship. I think this last one carries the spirit of the whole conversation, because the insight was never, AI will replace humanity. It was, like the old biplanes and the red arrows sharing the same sky, a new form of intelligence may simply join the human story. So my choice for the clip would be HAP, not replacing us, joining us. The future of human and AI companionship. A gentle title, but one that points toward a very large question for the century ahead.